Now, how many initiatives are there, and how much thought has gone into this to ensure that you have all grounds covered?
Okay. Thank you so much, Victor, and good morning once again, Nigerians. Thank you so much. So, if you look at the structure of the presidential committee that was recently, set up by this administration, you see, we have basically about 3 layers. We have the governance committee headed by the vice president, and of course, what they call deputized by the minister of finance. We also have the technical committee, headed by DG Nida, who is here with us, today, and of course deputized by the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, DG FSS. So the issue here is that alignment between the fiscal and the monetary policy, monetary sector of the country, I think is important, which has been correctly highlighted by DG when it comes to not only access, which is financial inclusion, but also economically empowered, right? As an enabler to support financial inclusion. So in terms of initiatives, DG spoke extensively about the leveraging technology, which we know that is the way we can be able to get to the last mile, who is the ultimate target, right? The people in the village and other vulnerable groups that we spoke about. And, for us to be able to achieve this journey sustainably, we have to have one of the important aspects in the financial system is actually to restore confidence. That is the public confidence, because somebody in the village, who used to put his money under his pillow, for him to do his normal transaction tomorrow when he's going to the next market, just to open his pillow and pick up the money. You now want to convince that person to go and open an account, and they be keeping those money into the account, into the bank or financial systems and all of that. I think it takes a lot of effort for you to restore confidence in that particular. What are the parameters that you need to put in place as part of our initiatives? I think it's the restoration of the consumer protection related initiative. So we plan to come up with the consumer protection at the base, at the last mile. You understand? As you know, we just came on board, but in terms of the bouquets of initiatives that we intend to have, apart from leveraging technology, is to also collaborate with agencies involved so that we can be able to, first of all, enhance the literacy. DG spoke extensively about the literacy, including particularly emphasis on the digital literacy, but we have the broader financial literacy, which is also a very key. Central Bank issued the financial literacy framework, which was some years back launched. So all the stakeholders involved in this, to the extent of incorporating this into our schools curriculums, to ensure that people are now financially literate. They know how to manage their finances right from the personal finances to all sort of the banking service and all of that. I think those ones are key when they are when they are learned in that space. I think it adds a lot of value. And then again, for them to know that there is redress mechanisms whereby you have issues. For example, you have your ATM has issues. How can you now report, and then your issue can now be resolved promptly? All those ones are also in the pipeline. So among this particular one, in August last year, that is 2024, what we did was that we did what they call high level policy dialogue. We did it outside the country in order to visit certain places to learn how these things are done, at the global scale, so that we can be able to bring the learnings, to develop our own locally here. So currently, one of the initiatives we are partnering with the relevant agencies like law enforcement agencies, regulators, and of course technology providers, in order to come up with such a framework that we will enhance services within the banking system. How do we enhance services, for example, especially for the last mile person? When you have 1,000 naira, hooked in your ATM, for example, how can you, within no distant time, that issue can actually be resolved? And then again, most of these people at the agent locations, especially, some people leverage on that to carry out some sort of like a criminality, if I can call it that way. For example, cashing out something that is so. we have to ensure that we're actually working to ensure that they enhance what do you call it, KYC, because whoever is the agent that is transacting in the village, which you spoke about, his identity, his traceability is actually assured, so that whatever happened, you can be able to follow through and track and do the needful based on the extant laws and regulations on ground. So that one is also there. Again, in terms of communication, to be able to inform people, for them to understand what is the direction of government in this, we are also working towards collaborating with agencies, of course, such as the likes of NTA and your sister organization, which is the Ministry of Information. Ministry of Information, right? Okay, to collaborate with them, like Bureau of what's the name? This agency that has to do with advocacy and all of that. Anyway, thank you so much. So we're actually coming up with those initiatives that are in a bouquet of activities so that every Nigerian, which I can call every economically active Nigerian, should not be left behind in this journey. So this is one of such. I don't want to go, because technology, DG has spoken extensively, about that aspect. There are other aspects also that we're also working on. For example, now, last week when we were discussing, we spoke about 5 key gaps, right? Number one of such is the gender. Right, so last month, precisely 30th January and 31st January, we convened a gender inclusion conference, in the State House there. One of the things is to address one of the key financial inclusion gap, which is what? Gender. We call it #she's included. So the intention here is that there are so many initiatives going on, both the public and private sector in the country, right? Supporting women, women's economic empowerment, gender-based violence, and all that. So what we did here is that at the apex level of government, which is the presidency, we are now saying all those initiatives, how can we first of all promote this aspect whereby people both in the public and private sector are encouraged, for them to support gender, so to get them empowered, so that we can be able to have balancing, where as much as men does have access to financial services, women should equally have such access. Then again, to also come up and stand and benefit from these economic activities in the country, both the public and private sector. Another aspect of it also is the youth, right? So our youth, if you can remember, particularly from 18 to 35, I think these are the people, let me say, who have less access to financial services. And I'm sure the reasons are very clear, because maybe within that period, they're trying to, maybe some of them graduate from school, they're trying to get job, some of them from secondary school, they are trying to do one or two things. So what we're trying to say within that, we realize that there is lesser access to financial services, and of course economic opportunities. So we are now saying at the apex level, we'll be promoting youth inclusion, to ensure that every Nigerian stand the same opportunity or equal opportunity to benefit from the economic opportunities of the country, as well as access to financial services. If you look at globally, all those other countries, you realize that we have so many. Because of initiatives that came up, a lot of youth, they are very smart, especially within the leveraging technology space. So what are the things that we can do in order to promote, to support our youth? In India, for example, they created an ecosystem whereby we have middle class. Within the middle class system, a lot of people, have affordability. They are smart enough to grab the opportunities within the technology space, so that they can transform it into some economic activities that will get a lot of people off the street and, of course, get jobs and all. So that one is also one of the focus within the pipeline of initiatives we also have. If you look at the rural-urban gap, it's also existing, whereby more people in the rural area does have less access to financial services compared to the people in the city. I think that also comes to the question you asked, DG, just a few minutes ago. So technology actually is the way to go around that. I think DG has spoken extensively. And of course, a typical example of such is that before the arrival of agent banking in Nigeria, that time, in 2015 precisely, a geospatial mapping was conducted, and at that time it was realized that about 239 local government out of the 774 at that time does not have a single, financial access point, So and most of those places, of course, are in the rural areas, right? So the challenge, because of this challenge, with the arrival of agent banking, I doubt if there is any village that has some key economic activities that you will not find all these agent banks and all that, operating within that space. I know that there are challenges around what do you call it, connectivity, which NIDA and other related agencies are doing very fantastic job to ensure that they enhance that space. So we are making progress in different fronts just to be sure that those people in the villages are also given the needed access to financial services. And two more on the 5 scales that I spoke about. We have regional issues, and then the last one is MSMEs. MSMEs, I think that one is quite clear. Initiatives are going on. Different agencies are doing a lot, in order to support the MSME space, creating access to financial services, and of course, supporting them for us to have more jobs. But then again, regional issues, yeah.